Hello and welcome. My name is Greatman Ayilara, and today we will answer this question very briefly for the sake of the people in the now and those who of the future generation also. We're doing this particular recording and teaching. The big question here is mostly all mankind knows what happens when they awake, because it is way too easy for you to live in the light. Those who want to do the easy things are always looking for the light. Those who are not willing to put the highest part of their intelligence and the divine part of them into work or into display always reach out for the light. While majority of the things that is life transforming and life changing happens in the dark. And this is what I feel when people come to me and say, I am afraid of the dark, I'm so afraid to be alone, to stay alone, and all of those things. And I'm like, wow, you are afraid to be human and to be divine. You are simply saying you are afraid to be God. And so the question is, what happens when we sleep? But before we get to that particular crux of the matter, I want you to know that there is nothing wrong with darkness. You were formed in darkness, you grew up in darkness, and whatever it is you do in light, you still go back to darkness every single day. Without the darkness, your life is a mystery. Without the darkness, your life is messy. And some people even have to inject themselves with some substantial amount of chemical for them to be able to attain the state and the realm of darkness. Because in darkness there is so much refreshment and there is so much updating and so much power that is coming on you, and your clarity is so super in darkness. And what happens to you when you are not able to sleep? Let's say for 2 days straight away, your life is messed up. You can't even think straight anymore, and death is just doing come to you. But you are afraid of the dark. You're so scared of what's going to happen to you in the dark that darkness to you means evil. But there's nothing wrong with darkness. In darkness you were formed, not in sin. What your Bible or your Quran told you was that in sin you were formed. In sin your mother conceived you. Not in sin. The ancient wisdom do not talk about sin. There is no word like sin in the ancient wisdom. Yeah, we have words like offense. Offense to who? Offense to yourself and people you coexist with here. Not to a super god or a spiritual being or one beautiful something in the sky. Offense is what we have in the ancient world. We don't have a word like a sin. Sin is too nonsensical a word for you to use on yourself, because it's like putting the whole of your life, how you think, what you gain at the end of the day, and your expectation is being totally determined by someone else. When you talk about sin, that you are the mercy of other people when you use the word sin. Now we talk about offense because part of human nature is offense. We will mess up sometimes. We will get it right sometimes. That's what we mean by offense. So the ancient Kemetic scripture talked about in darkness you were formed, in darkness your mother carries you. You were comfortable in darkness for good 6 months, for good 9 months. And after you were born, you can't wait to go back to darkness, because every single day that you see the light, the end expectation and the destination of every day you have is the darkness. You can't wait for the dark to come. Either you are an animal, you are existing as an animal, you are existing as a water, you are existing as a plant, or you exist as a human. You cannot wait to get that beautiful spiritual and divine refreshment that is only hidden in darkness, in the place of darkness. But you were being programmed and you were taught and you were raised to be scared of what happens in the dark. And every wonderful things, every mystical power, every form of divine ability you can harness was zoned in the dark, and they told you not to go to the dark. They told you darkness is evil. Now, when you come to terms to the fact that you have no choice than to retire to the darkness every single time, you are asking, what happens when I sleep? What is it that happens exactly when I go to bed? You see, there are two dynamic plane or sphere or part of humankind. We have the conscious aspect and we have the unconscious aspect, which they call the subconscious aspect. Now, if you are injected with a certain kind of serum right now, and your pulse is actually way below the pulse of a living soul, but you are not really dead, you realize that at that moment in time, you are in tune with nature, you are in tune with your divine reality, and you can almost hear the plants of the field speaking verbal words in audio that you can really hear, and you can hear the voice and the messages of the animals at that moment of your unconscious state. At the moment where they have pronounced you dead, what happens to you is that you become really alive, totally divinely alive. And the reason why we say you are dead is because we cannot understand what you are understanding. The radio frequency and the audio frequency, or whatever it is that we are dealing with in our conscious state, is deafening our hearing and our ability to capture the signal that is being sent by all other creatures on this planet Earth. And we say you are dead, but we are the really people that are dead. We are the one who is dead to the nature, to what is around us. You are really alive when we bury you, or we put you in the mug, or we embalm you and we put you in that state of subconsciousness. Let's call it subconsciousness, not unconsciousness now, where you are totally alive and in tune with everything, and you can almost see what we do, and you can hear perfectly well what the plants, the animals, and all those things you call non-living things do, and you will be able to learn effectively from them. We say you are dead, but we are the really dead people because we are conscious. And in the state of consciousness, we are so distracted with all the things around us that we don't even have a clue of the things happening around us. Have you ever taken the time to go into the woods or the jungle and study the life of an animal, and you come back home with tears in your face and say, see what I am missing out of life? You think life is about Facebooking, Googling, and YouTubing, and gossiping on bloggers, or carrying the best news, or being updated about the current affairs of your nation, or knowing the price of dollars and all that. You think that is life? That's not life. The real life resides in a place you call the zone of the non-living things. They have super intelligent things to teach you. And it is a lock. It is a lock for you. It is a lock that is got into at a very speedy rate of intentional living, for you to be able to be aware of the nature around you, to the lives, other lives and creatures around you, to the point of you being able to know the unseen and see the unseen. I was talking to someone last night, and we're having this long talk. This friend of mine stays in France, and we're having this long talk about so many elements of life and how things can work out. And I would say, be conscious of the kind of doors you open in the atmosphere where you stay. Because when you open the atmosphere of authority in your home, there are things moving around that can find that place as a good abode. And even though you don't call for them, but you have given them a place of authority in your own atmosphere. That is being aware and being able to control the sun, the moon, the air, and the water, all the elements of life. We're going to be teaching that in private class tomorrow on Zoom. If you are interested, you can just send me a mail, Greatman Ayilara @gmail.com. Send you the link to that particular room. I will be teaching some selected few of people on identifying and harnessing their mystical elements for prime performance. identifying and harnessing their mystical element for prime performance. Now, this is not religion. This is me telling you that you are the God you are looking for. This is me telling you that religion don't have to have a hold on you. This is me telling you that you don't need to reach out to anybody to be able to get done what you are praying for. This is me telling you that prayer is useless. Those who pray perpetually become more useless than those who think. And part of thinking is thinking, who am I? What am I? What am I capable of? So at that state of your unconsciousness or subconsciousness, because when we have consciousness, the next thing is unconsciousness. So in the adulterated form of it, we call it subconsciousness, just to make it look as if we have a hold on it, or we have a control over it, where we actually are hypocritical. We just have the known, or the knowing that there is a subconscious state of man. So let's just go with unconsciousness. In that state of unconsciousness, this is the reason why people tell you that when they were put on a tray for surgery and they were given those is it anesthesia or analgesic or whatever they give to them, they traveled in space. They see things. When you are gravely healed to the point where you are almost near to your grave, you realize that at that point in time, your thinking changes. The way your brain processes data changes. Your who you are, live who you think you are. Have you ever had experience where you step out of this body you have always called you, and you realize that the body is just lying down there on the bed, and you have always referred to this body as you, but the real you is looking at the one you called you? And that state of unconsciousness, you are alive, but they are pronouncing you dead. You can see everything, you see everyone. Time is not evident. Time is not even relevant at that stage where you are, because if you think of yourself in United Kingdom while you are in your mother's village in Nigeria, you are already there. There is no time in that state of unconsciousness. No time in that state of unconsciousness. And you are given the privilege to be able to enter that state of unconsciousness every single day, and you can only attain that state of unconsciousness in the dark. In the dark. People want to live a very easy life, never do great things in their life. They look for the light. They look for the sun. They look for the light. Nobody gropes around the darkness in the light. Nobody misses their steps in the light. Life is way too easy. Light renders you useless. I put it that way. Light simply renders you useless and perpetually redundant, because almost everything you should have used your intelligence for, you already have it at your beck and call. But let's switch off the light. Your sense organ comes alive. Then you realize that it is more than 6 or 5 or whatever they call it to you. Your whole body, the cells in your body, the strands of hair in your body is also a certain kind of sense organ. You are perfectly alive in human body, and you are also perfectly alive in your divine nature. And in the dark, you can just give yourself a little example right now. Close your eyes and think of yourself in another country. You are there. But open your eyes and think of yourself in another country. There is a little bit of distortion, distraction because of the images around you. The light will always and perpetually block your horizon from reaching that end of the universe you hope to get to at a point in time. So darkness brings you the gift of divine nature, where you put all your sense organs at work, and you are in one spot, but you are everywhere at the same time. So they told you that witchcraft takes place in the night, and you are very, very scared of witches. I got witches who are my friends. I got those who claim to be witches, whose religion is witchcrafty, who are my friends. We will sit down, we will talk. What do you guys do? What is it? So I'm not scared of them, because this is science. They know these things. What do you know that I don't know? Now I told you about the science of diabolism. I told you diabolism is a pagan word, is an abusive word for power. Diabolism is an abusive word for power. You can go to my YouTube channel to check this. The science of diabolism is an abusive word for power. When you and I sit in a room and there's power available in that room, but I only have the access to that power, you will call it diabolic. But when two of us have access to that power and we are able to make use of that power, suddenly the power is not diabolic and not abusive anymore. So if the witches know what you know, what you don't know, why don't you just be humble enough to ask them, how will they do that witchcraft? How will they do it? They told you the powers of your father's house are against you. Have you ever gone to your father's house and asked, how do you come about this power? Let it be the fight between powers. And those things you don't know can kill you. So they perpetually tell you not to go back to Egypt, but they are in Egypt excavating and digging the ground today because they know the moment you get to Egypt, you are enlightened forever. So they say witches operate in the dark, and so you perpetually are scared of the dark. When in darkness you are able to amount to what you are really made of. Your divine nature come alive. You are scared of the dark, but you go to bed at night. How foolish can one be? You are scared of the dark, but you close your eyes to go to bed at night. From the dark where you came, dark you go back to every single day, and perpetual darkness you go back to until you are unfortunate. Let me use the word unfortunate enough to witness the light again. So the concept of death does not come or arise in the mindset of those people who are comfortable with the dark. And the dark is filled up with the fear of the unknown. You don't know what will happen to you, the uncertainty of what's going to happen to you when you return back to this perpetual thick darkness where you become fully divine, where you have access to know everything that is happening and you are not limited. You are no more a fragment of the universe, but you have become part, an integral part of the universe because you are scared of what will happen because you don't know. Religion doesn't make you know that you follow Yeshua, you follow Muhammad, you serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you serve God, you are looking forward to heaven with street made of gold, you are looking forward to hell that is made of fire, you fill your brain with so many imaginary and fictional story, and you are useless here and you are not even going to be useful there because you are scared of the dark. Now the religion that gave you the concept of afterlife knows that when they scare you about the dark, they can put the content of the dark in it. Someone is asking, do you mean witches does exist? Yeah, they exist. It's a religion on its own. It's like asking me if Christians exist. They exist. But witches are not those nonsense you see on the movies, sir. Peter Rocky asking me this question now. Witches are not those nonsense you see on the movies. Witches are way differ from what Mount Zion, Mike Bamiloye, the rest of them painted for you. Witches are not those folks that are flying on a broom. Witches are not those scary stuff you see. Those are fictions. Those are fictions. Those are their imagination. It's like you telling me that devil is black, God is white. From whose imagination? Who created a fiction? It's an imagination of man. But when it comes to witchcraft, yes, it does exist. And witches don't have to be black people. There are white witches, there are Hindu witches. This is a religion. You get my point? It is a religion on its own. Okay, now what do you practice in your religion? What is the concept of your religion? You have been bastardized long enough, but you guys possess some level of science. I want to know what you practice. You see, the step of boldness make them shower you with a encomium of love. See, what you don't know, don't run away from it. So I hear a lot of time people come to my inbox and send me mails and tell me, I want you to mentor me, I want you to do this. And I look at their words. I go to their social media to check how their life has been all the while, and I realize that these are people who are fit lickers. Who believe in what other people tell them. I'm not going to make you become a follower of me where I tell you what to do or how to live your life. No, find out the truth for yourself. So if I ask you to follow me to the meeting or the festival of the witches, how would your reaction be? You will call me pagan, you will call me diabolic. If they are doing a show festival and I say, can we go and view what these people are doing? We need to ask them why they do what they do. We want to ask the rationale behind what they do. You will time it and say, no, don't go there. Don't be unequally yoked with your unbeliever. How do you know how to beat the unbeliever when you are not even asking them, why? What do you do? Why do you do what you do? and say you call yourself a good person. Good people can't even make it in afterlife, if there is afterlife. Good people are not holy people. We'll talk about some other day. Good people are not holy people. Because the moment you put yourself in the category of being good, you condemn the rest of us. But while being good, you want to attain holiness, but you have condemned the rest of us. How holy can you be when other people are lesser than you in your own imagination? So talking about if witches exist and all that, yes, it exists. It's like asking if water exists. But you don't know much about that. And your pastor don't want you to know. But your pastors and your imam go to them. Because those are ancient people. You want to be diabolic, you want to be mystical, you want to get all those things. They have it at hand. There is no power in the name of any Jesus. There is no power in any Bible. Your pastor needed to consult them to do whatever they are doing for you. You say this is not Holy Spirit. This is Kundalini Spirit and all that. Where did they get the Kundalini Spirit? So those pastors, those imam of yours are wiser than you. They go to people who understand the ancient wisdom, how the world was formed, and how human beings are gods. Then with that knowledge, they control the rest of you. And in exchange, you give them your money. So moving on, you have been programmed to be scared of the darkness, but you can't wait to go back to darkness. Every time you grow old and you wear away, and I say do a practical experience. I are the best bed layer in the world. I don't know the professional name they give to them, those who lay beds for people in hotel. Give them the newest sheet and all that. Let them lay your bed for you. Have your bath, go to your bed and sleep. Wake up in the morning, try as much as possible to gather the particles on that bed. You will see sand there. How did the sand get here? You are wearing away. That is you wearing away. And wearing away is you trying to exit the time of the sun into the time of the darkness. You are gradually going back to the darkness from where you came from. So I say people were formed from nothing and they go back to nothing else. Forget about the story of I'm going to afterlife, I will be received by some angels and all of those things. Come, make your life easy. Make your life so easy. Live this life to the fullest and anticipate your darkness. But then when you wake up in the morning, you can't wait to also go back to sleep. Even during the day, some people assess the pleasure of the darkness. They slumber, they sleep and all that. And at that moment you sleep, what happens when you sleep? What happens to your life? What happens to your mentality, every nook and cranny of you when you sleep? You practically become what you are. At the moment of sleep, most times people get into a realm of seeing visions. People get to that point of seeing visions. Things become clearer when you sleep. Why do things become clearer when you sleep? Because the real you, the analytical you, the critical thinking you, the perfect you, the divine you can only be attained in darkness. In darkness. So I'm telling all of you who have children right now, train your children to be comfortable in their own darkness. They will not run into the arm of those who never loved them. Train them to be comfortable by their own self. Train them to cherish their own lone time. So depression will not have a hold over them. Those who are running from darkness always face depression. And at the end of the day, they still hasten their darkness by committing suicide. It is because people do not know that even depression itself is a gift of nature, that they make use of it in an abusive manner. They make use of it in an abusive manner. So when you find yourself in a moment of darkness, are you going to make something monumental out of it? Now let's come from the angle of consciousness right now. And I keep telling you that the scientist may be a little bit right. The psychologist may be a little bit right. The scientists are banking on your brain and says it is the central processing unit and it contains your memory. The psychologist or physiotherapist and all that are banking on your mind and they say it is the central processing unit of your life, that it controls the rest part of you. But then if you now take a look at it, you realize that both your brain and your mind are not you. You got them when you got here. What is your brain? Your brain is part of your body. Is that it? And they tell you to give your children milk or whatever so that your brain can develop well. That shows that whatever they call a brain is a component of this physical world that you accumulated according to what you eat. If you eat well, you have a sharp brain. If you don't eat well, otherwise. What you call your body, what you call me, is an accumulation of fat, of carbohydrate, of starch, of all of those things. You look exactly like what you eat. This is not you. This is not you. This is earth. This is soil. This is something that comes from the soil. This is also a product of its own darkness. A product of darkness ejaculated in your mother, and in darkness you were formed. And when you came, everything you ate so far to become like this came from the darkness. Have you planted anything that came from the sky? Everything came from darkness, which is underneath the ground. So if you are not eating well, you will not look good. And let's talk about your mind also, or your brain. Your brain is part of your body, right? Ordinary water, just water that was solidified. So you say, I'm only brain, God, I have a good brain, I'm intelligent. Come off it. Don't be too much of yourself. Don't be too proud of yourself. You are nothing. You are just water. You are just a composition of what you met here on earth, and you gather together and you process well. Talk about your mind. Your mind is a composition of all the impression you have gathered so far. So we can't even say your mind is you. We can't even say your mind is you. But what I'm saying is that a totalitarian, or a totality of who you are as a being, you must not segmentize some part of your body as more intelligent than the other part of your body. Because in the moment of darkness, every single part and organ of your body begin to emit their divine aura and ability. So what happened to people whose eyes are blind? Do you know they compensate for it when they hear, the way they hear things? What happens to those who cannot hear and cannot see? Somehow they compensate for it. Then you realize that every part of our body can see, can talk, can feel, can emit, every single part individually. That's why even if it is this your smallest finger that is hurting you, every part of your body is messed up. So individually, this finger have a memory on its own. I'm breaking it down now. Individually, this finger have a memory of its own. And from this finger, everything that is needed to determine your DNA, your paternity and all that can be gotten from just this finger. What about the strand of hair in your head? Just one strand of hair in your hair is your head has a memory of its own, contain all that it is, ability to speak, to talk, to disseminate information, to store memory. Every single part of you. Every single part of you. Your skin, everything. That's why it baffles me why we tamper with our natural skin and our natural life. Why people inject external substances that belong to someone else into their body, all in the name of vogue and fashion and all of those. And scientifically, it has been proven that sometimes your body can reject some organs because it doesn't belong to you. So before we move on, let me quickly answer Peter again. He said, if witches exist, how did they get their power? Don't you think something engineering their power? Okay, how did they get their power? Now, their power comes from the realization and the reconciliation they have that they are one with the universe. So I'm going to put a question to you now. Those who call the name of Jesus, they got miracles, right? Those who call Allah, they say they got miracles, right? Those who worship idols also, they also say they got miracles, right? If miracle is the sole power of one particular name, of one particular God, why does everybody get miracle whichever belief they attach their mind to? that shows that people are the one doing the miracles. They were just lingering on a placebo, a substance, to spur them into activating their divine reality. So I'm going to give you water to drink. Water in itself, can it heal you? No, it can't. It can only quench your thirst. But what is your mindset towards that water? You agree that this water will heal you of headache. The water listened to you. That's why I said mankind created God. God did not create man. So it is what we dictate for gods to do that they do. The God of fertility cannot give you husband. The God of spousal or having married cannot give you wealth. Oshajewa. The God of wealth is different. But who are the people? Who are the ones? What created the God? We created those gods. And we gave it a statutory responsibility of what to do for us. This you go and you go no further. So the Orishaje or the God of wealth cannot give you children. When you need wealth, we have concluded that this particular tree is going to be the God of fertility. When you go to it, it will spoil your faith, or it will spoil your divine ability into having a child. So you have gone to doctors and all that, you couldn't conceive, but because you have a placebo that is able to spoil your divine ability into saying, I have a child. When you get there, you have your child. So also when you call the name of Jesus, you think everything is going to be all right. Because you have been told everything will be all right. And in your mindset first, you believe everything will be all right. Don't your pastor tell you that if you don't have faith, you cannot get. That's what they are trying to tell you indirectly, that you are the God that tells this thing what to do. If what you are asking for it is not what you really want, you're not going to get it. So Jesus is not what is making your life better. You are the miracle worker. You are the God that is giving power to that name of Jesus. Those other people are calling other names and they are getting their power. So it is because witches know that if they add this to this, it's going to happen. They are so prime and so in tune and so in line with their mindset and with their divine ability that nothing is impossible for them. You go to church and you think something are impossible. You go to mosque, you think some things are impossible. These people you say are going to hell, they know not God, and they are witches, they are wizards, they are bad people. They believe nothing is impossible for them. So they look at you and they say your blood should dry, and your blood dried up because they believe that nothing can come between them and their wishes. Nothing can come between them and what they want in life. You practice it, you'll be a witch too. In no time, some people will come at your feet and begin to say, what power did you carry? You carry no power. You are just human, exhibiting your divine ability. So when you need the concept of faith that works, the concept of miracles that is real, go and meet the witches. They will teach you how. Jesus can't teach you how, except you practice witchcraft also. The Bible cannot teach you that. Going to church will never teach you that. It will never. And this is not because you are an African or something. White people practice this thing too. They also practice this thing too. So we go back to our discussion that every part of if you treat every part of your body the way you treat your eyes and your brain, if you treat them all equally, they are capable of harnessing the right kind of data and storing the kind of memory you will experience. And from that memory and data, you can process information that will lead to your destination. So in your state of consciousness, you look at things, you see things, you allow your mind to wander to this and all that. And all this data you have gathered so far, the moment you go to sleep, it becomes clearer. It becomes so clear to you. And in your state of unconsciousness, now everything begins to align according to its natural path. Everything begins to become clear according to its natural path. That's why it looks as if when you sleep, you are watching movies. Your unconscious state is the most beautiful state in your life. Your unconscious state allows you to look at things without red being called black or white being called blue. It is so clear, it is so perfect, you see clarity in the place of darkness. But I'm saying that what happens, how do you get the data that is being processed in your unconscious state? You get it from your conscious state. Now, are you limiting the data you are getting per day or per time to the things you are seeking clarity for? So some people say, I need clarity regarding all the aspects of my life. I say, you can't have clarity about all the aspects of your life. It's like getting out of the tunnel. The more you get closer to the end of the tunnel, the clearer it becomes. Don't confuse yourself. Don't put too many plantains in the frying pan at the same time. It will get so mucky and so munchy and so messed up. One aspect of your life per time. Deal with it. Get enough data in your conscious state about one aspect of your life. When you go to the place of sleep and the place of darkness, that aspect of your life is able to replay itself in a way that you cannot imagine, because the distraction of the consciousness has been taken away at that time. That's why when what you think about the most during the day is something fearful. I was in Ibadan a few weeks ago or a few days ago, and they threw me stone. It was really a scary experience for me there. So I spent the rest of my day thinking about what could be wrong, what is happening to our people and all that. I only came to help you. So when I went to bed, I saw wolves chasing me. Wolves chasing me. And wolves were throwing the things that human beings were throwing at me. If I was a fool, I would be looking for a mystical person or one babalao. So I woke up, I was like, enough. I focused on this trauma so much enough that even in my subconscious, it translated itself to my subconscious. Now, how beautiful is it going to be for you to focus on what exactly you are expecting in your life all the time? But look at you right now. What is your mind thinking about right now? You're thinking of success and you're doing failure. You want to get out of this pandemic alive, but you are focused on CNN. Any good news come out of CNN since you've been watching it? So you go to bed and you're in your unconscious state also, how you will die is clearly written for you. Not because a God is telling you or warning you or some people are telling you that you will die, but because you have filled your consciousness with something so nonsensical that your subconsciousness have no power to override it, but to help you to escalate it and explicitly explain it to you. So it will tell you that you will die on a bicycle and you'll be buried in a goat casket, but the goat casket will be stolen away and your body will be lying fallow by your grave. And when the rain beats you and the sun beats you, you will start smelling and maggot will now come take over you and does something. Is that how you want to use your darkness? So I say focus on the things only that you are expecting when you sleep. So people say, I have revelation, My sister, my brother, keep your mouth shut there. You only are getting explanation of what you are focused on when you are conscious. And sometimes some people say, okay, I wasn't thinking about this when I was awake, but I dreamed about it when I went to bed. You can forget. That's why your brain is not the most memorable place in your body. You can forget, but your body never forget. It's like retrieving the file and treating it in sequential state. It will now put priority on them. The one you think about the most today is the one that have the highest probability of showing up when you sleep tonight. When your mind wanders so much, instead of you to confuse your subconsciousness, it retrieve another data you have thought about maybe a few years ago, 10,000 years ago. You never thought about it. You didn't sit down to think about these things. But that doesn't mean your body is forgetting. If your eyes can see it, then your body has learned about it. Does it happen to you? When you walk, when you go by public transport and they are playing music that you really, really dislike, and you have no choice, you can't control the rest of the passenger. You are not listening to the music. You are hating it. You don't want to listen to it. So suddenly you get to your bedroom or your bathroom and you are in your alone time in the place of darkness, and the music began to replay itself word for word in your brain, so much that you can almost bet that you were there when they were composing the music. But when we ask you to render it in your consciousness, you can't render it. So the fact that you are not focusing on it does not mean your body is not learning about it. So they say the evil communication corrupts good manner. You think we are talking about keeping friends. We are talking about what do you communicate this your cell, this your temple, this your body with? Where do you go to? Where do you hang around? What do you listen to? What do you watch? What are you reading? Those things will flood your subconscious when you go into the place of darkness. Remember that the place of darkness is a place of power. If you now want to set yourself up, whatever you see in subconscious that is not looking like your future, come out and say it. You are now using your mouth to establish it. And as you have said, so it is for you. You get the logic of this establishment now. Is this what they taught you in church? So they said, out of the mouth of two or three, the truth is established. Even the truth of your unconscious state. So you don't need this thing to happen in your real life, but you keep talking about it in real life when you wake up from your unconsciousness. What you're doing is you are using your mouth to paint the event of your life or give yourself a schedule of calamity in the future. So how the calamity will happen, you don't need to worry about that. Life will fix you up. Life will fix you up. So let the things of the dark remain in the dark, especially those things of the dark that you don't like. That you don't like. That you don't like. You want to be great, all you think about is wisdom, all you think about is having clarity, all you think about is having the best of life and all that. When you go to bed, you will dream about those things you put your mind at the most. So this is not time for you to start looking for a yogi, a pastor, and a imam to come and interpret one nonsensical vision for you. What you were looking for is what you have seen. All you need to do is just to consult your inner self and get more explanation. And if you are the type that is always awake at all time, that is always aware at all time, your dream should not scare you. If your real life is not scaring you, why is your dream scaring you? Those who experience nightmares are those who have filled up their mind and their cells and their body with events of scares. Of scares. So I say your body learns even without your consent. Once you see it, your body captures the data. Either you need it or not. Either you ponder on it or not. I do something for myself. I try to reduce the pollution of my unconsciousness. So when I'm in a private bus, or in the public bus rather, I always put my earphone on. And if I don't need my eyes, I don't open it. Can I say that again? If I don't need my eyes, I don't open it. I can make use of my ear and myself, which is not me, to monitor where I am. I don't want to complicate issue by opening my eyes. Must I see everything? Do I need every picture that is coming, flooding itself into my brain, into my membranes, into my cells, into my tissue, do I need everything? I don't read everything on Facebook. I don't read everything. I don't listen to everything. I know what I want. Now I've gotten to a state in my life, and you must also get to a state in your life where you are. Maturity is not when you can cater for a woman and put a roof for her. Maturity is when you can love yourself enough to limit the numbers of data that comes into you, or eradicate pollution. You live in this world, you are not of this world. So the component of things that happen here, do you take them all in? Are you taking every nook? That's who you are. You are in the church service of this one, Asalatu of this one, You are confused. So I go in the public, I don't open my eyes all the time. As a matter of fact, if I'm walking on the straight road without barriers and all that, I try to close my eyes. I don't need all the people that I don't want to see all of you. I know people I want to see. So in my dream, I don't start in my subconscious, in the moment of my sleep, I don't start seeing strangers and I start thinking of what could this stranger mean? Because really, my unconscious state will bring about every single person I have set my eyes on to play one role or the other, either important or not important when I'm there. Because subconscious is the most scripted aspect of our life. The most scripted aspect of your life. And it will leave no place void. It could look at like a scene of one scene of a particular movie, but it can be so detailed that that scene will be the only thing that you are dealing with for 8 hours of your darkness, of the moment of darkness in the day. So whoever needs to do a passerby will do a passerby. It is out of the people you have seen in your life. You don't need to know them. Whoever need to carry armor will carry armor. Those who need to be like animal will be like animal. Those who need to fly will fly. You have seen all these people one way or the other. You don't need to agree that you have seen them. Your body learns. That's why I say, why don't we focus on natural intelligence rather than for us to liquidate all the power and the extent of our natural intelligence and look out for artificial intelligence. Look at marvelous things that artificial intelligence could do. Now, what created artificial intelligence? Natural intelligence. Have we exhausted that? So in the sleep, it is not God coming to press you. Satan does not have your time. It's not even in existence. It's only in existence when you think about it or you create it for yourself. So I often tell people that come, if you really want to set yourself free from Satan, you have to let God go. Yoruba people say, any leru, lo leru, any leru, lo leru. It is he who have the slave that have the property of the slave. Whoever created Satan, if you don't let it go, you will not be free from Satan. As long as you are still holding on to God, you'll be fighting against Satan. The day I let God go, my sleep has been so easy. How is it that it's only you people that are following God and going to church all the time, listening to all this crazy stuff that you'll be having attack in the dream every time? Every time. You want to magbal arrow. Nobody even fight with arrow these days. People fight with bomb. But it's you that will be getting attack and arrow. Arrow of the day, terror of the night. What is did you offend this God you are running after? Is it like you are infuriating him the more you are running after him? Those of us who said we are tired, we just went into a place of rest. Perfect rest. We don't need angels to surround our bed when we sleep, because we are divine in our own state itself, and we are fully awake. And who told you go to sleep? Nobody sleeps since the day they have been born. You don't go to sleep. You can either be conscious or unconscious. Nobody go to sleep. Your brain don't go to sleep. Your body never go to sleep. In your consciousness, your body is learning, gathering data. In your subconscious, your body is your body is analyzing and critically just putting it on table. You don't sleep. Even when we say you should rest in peace and all that, we know we are lying to you. There is no peace for you. You are walking even in the dark, walking your way back to the light. Everybody will be recycled. You will go and come. You will go and come. That's why the world will never come to an end. Oh, but look at you now. Look at you. Look at what they have reduced you to. You don't even know how to exert this divine power in you. You are not focused. You are not focused. What you learned yesterday in your gathering is different from what you are learning today. You have not digested that one. You can't even ask questions about that one. They just put all the junks of the world on you. I'm a winner. I'm a redeemer. I'm this. And your life is not redeemed. You are not winning against anything. As a matter of fact, you are breaking limit every time that you call yourself a winner. What kind of a winner keep breaking limit every time? I don't mean to be rude, but I'm telling you the truth. Is this the life you want to live? Now, if you have subjected yourself to this slavery and you are retired to it, please don't raise your children like this. I'm particular about the children. Do you want to raise your children like this? Why is it that the children of those who do not believe in this God are the one doing the things that you believe in God are expecting? You use the technology of those who do not believe in God. You fly the plane of those who do not believe in God. You go to the space of those who do not believe in God. You are expecting the satellite to buffer signal to you. Those who do not believe in this God are giving it to you. But you believe in God and you are totally useless. So when I ask you, you say you are praying. How useless have you been? Praying. So those who pray and those who are high on drugs, they are both running from their problem, isn't that? Either you are high on alcohol, cocaine, or whatever. You are both running from problem, isn't that? And you are praying, you are running from problem. You get so addicted to prayer, they get so addicted to their drugs. You are both running from problem. When you finish praying, has the problem gone? It's still there. What will it take to solve the problem? You have to still go back and think. If you cannot think that intelligently, you consult other human beings like yourself. And in execution, you still need human being like yourself to get it done. And those who drink after the whole thing wears away from them, the problem persists. If they don't do anything about the problem stays there. So I say, why do you waste your time getting yourself hooked on drugs? These are the drugs of chemical or the drug of prayer. Why do you pray when you are still the one who will solve this problem? You are a sheer time waster when your life is all about praying. You waste time. So while you are kneeling down praying, knowing that you will still come back and solve the problem, those who never bother to pray are critically thinking and making consultation and researches. It was easy for you to be fooled that 5G causes COVID-19 because you spend your life praying and not reading. It is easy for you to believe that Jesus walked on water because you spent your life praying and believing instead of critically asking questions and thinking. This is what religion has reduced us to. Are we going to live like this? So when you talk about slavery, that they came to Africa to take your forefathers away, are they still in Africa? Are they still taking your forefathers away? Why are you not better? And yet, from all researches, the civilization of the world started from here. You have so much and you use so little. You are the best, yet you are the worst. You are supposed to be the head, yet you are struggling to even know the position at the tail. Black man, I say, wake up now. They took away African religion, African history, even your own national history. Your children don't even know about your tribe, your dialect. They can't even speak your language, but they're replacing all the schools in your own country, in your own continent. The history on CRK, they put the history of the Jewish people on it. You are glad to pay the school fees for your children too. You should rise up against institution and the board of education in your country. My children I'm not going to let my children learn about the history of other nation. They should learn about the history of their forefathers. They replace your own African history with IRK and CRK, and you are glad to pay the tuition fee. They tell your children to learn about Christian religion, Christian knowledge religion, or whatever they call it, or Islamic religion knowledge, and so on, and you are glad to pay the school fees. Your children do not know who Fumilayo and Sankoti is. They don't know about Shango, Ogunwoya. They don't know about their own people, that black people can also be God. They do not know that a man once lived on this planet. He is from Oyo State. He's called Shango. He lived to a point whereby people began to worship him. Your children need to identify that a black person can also be God. Let them stop worshiping the God of the Jewish people. Why must Jesus be the God of their life? Why can't Ogun be the God of their life, or Shango or Abadiwa be the God of their life? The moment they are conceived the fact and the idea that a black man can also be God, the ability to become God in the future also resides in them. That's not what we're talking about today, right? But I just need you to wake up. And I don't mean they should bow down to any God. And I'm just saying that if a man in Jerusalem, in Galilee, can rise up to the point of being worshipped as God, we also have men, numerous of them, uncountable of them. We have Oba, we have Yemoya, we have Shango, we have Ogun, we have Oshun, we have different kind of them. We have Lanroyi, we have different of them who once lived, who were human beings, but rose to the pantheon level where they were worshipped as an emperor, as a god on earth. They became so divine to the point that they manifested all their divine ability through the knowledge of the things they discovered. Your children can also be a god. And I'm saying to you that you don't need to bow down to a god that has come and gone. You can be your own god and live forever. But your children will not be able to conceptualize this idea, because aspect of being God is only a foreign idea for them. The concept of being God is a foreign idea for them. So they believe if someone had to be God, if a nation had to be a chosen nation, if a nation had to be divine, it has to be from Israel or Arabian country. So you work in Africa as an African person, send your children to school to go and learn how to bow down to the personality and the famous people from another nation, and you say you are free. You sit with me, you drink with me, you are with me, and you tell me that you are a free human being. You are a slave. Are they still in Africa carting you away? They are not carting you away. You are even carting yourself away with the bondage of religion. So they tell you when you see tortoise, When you see tortoise in the dream, that means your life will be slow. You'll be experiencing a slow progress and all that. They never told you that tortoise actually cover itself with so much hard shell that it's very hard for it to encounter death, and tortoise can live over 100 years. They didn't tell you that slow and steady win the race. They didn't interpret it for you and tell you that when you see tortoise in the dream, that shows that you will live longer if you take things easy. Your pastor don't know that knowledge. Your pastor don't know that knowledge. So you saw dogs barking at you in the dream, and you run to your pastor and he's telling you that's the spirit of witchcraft and all that. Did they ever tell you that of all the animals in this world, only dogs have that other sensory organs, have that third eye in them, that if a ghost is walking or some set of evil is trying to happen, a dog can alert you on time. They never told you that you have a spiritual inclination in you and you should be divine. They only told you that witches are chasing you because you don't know yourself. Because you are scared of the dark. And because they have programmed you to be scared of the dark that you go to every day, whatever happens in the dark can only be detected by them. You're looking for how to be God. Every time you sleep, you become God, but you are scared of who you are. And so you are comfortable living ordinary, like a slave, so distracted, not serious, not focused. And you wonder why your pastor is ruling your life and getting all the money. You practice what I teach you, they will be broke in a year time. They will be broke, totally broke, because they will not have customers. It's going to be a battle of force. It's going to be a battle of force. So they were quick to tell you that it's a serpent spirit that is troubling you, because when snakes sees you, they don't bite you, because you have this aura and this awe on you, that snakes don't bite you when they see you. But they are quick to also tell you that one God told Moses to turn rod into snakes, and if it is Moses or the Bible talking about snakes in a very beautiful way, it is fine. This is not serpential spirit. But if it is you talking about snakes and getting the meticulosity and the wisdom of snakes and trying to harness this element of a snake, and if you tilt towards it, they tell you that you are demonically possessed. And if you see snake in the dream, they tell you that you have been possessed of Satan. But when they talk about snakes in their Bible, they talk about it in a good light. As a matter of fact, God told Moses to raise a snake up, and they should look up to a snake. So when are you going to be free? I ask you, when are you going to be free? As I bring this to a close and to an end, I will entertain this particular contribution. It said, you said you were once a Muslim and a Christian. Do you have some native religion background? So how do you get all this new knowledge? I am not asking with derogation, but just want to know. All right, this question is coming from Shola Daniels. I was born in a village. And native knowledge is not a bad knowledge. It is not about native knowledge. As a matter of fact, having a native knowledge is a good knowledge. I offered Yoruba as a course in the school. And while my friends would rather run for mathematics and English, I cherish the tune. I'm in tune more when I read Yoruba and read about those things. And I'm more closer to the elders. Most of my friends are elderly folks. So if you want to get where all these things are coming from, most of my friends are elderly folks. I rarely make friends with younger folks. All these internet, Indomie, fast food children, I really, not because I'm proud, but they have nothing to offer me. Most of my friends are elderly folks. The elderly folks, and there is wisdom in taking care of the elders. I remember my father being a friend of one man that was been alive even before Queen Elizabeth became the Queen of England. I don't want to mention his name, but his children are now big-time politicians in this nation. So when my father was the one taking care of Baba in the village, the children were gallivanting in London and all that then. So it will take me to this particular man. I don't want to mention his name. You will quickly get his name. And Baba have so many library. library of wisdom and knowledge. So while you are on Google, I'm in the library of the elders, the ancient folks, because I was seeking. I want to know. And up till now, during this COVID, I took up a lot of research work with my friend in Australia. We have a supervising professor also supervising us, and you'll be very marveled that these people are so crazy about African history and region. And it's so much of a shameful thing for me that I am learning about my people from the library of a white person in Australia. That's the price I pay. While you sleep in the middle of the night and snore away, I'm awake. I barely got 2 hours sleep and woke up to come and do this thing I've been reading. And the more you read, the more free you become. Go beyond the Bible and Quran, you realize that there is more to life than that. And being spiritual should not be something you are taught. Being spiritual is something you are. All those things you call native, whatever, it's not native. It is human nature. The only time you tap into sin nature is the moment you let religion go. The moment you let religion go, you will realize how powerful you are. The subject of raising the dead, healing the sick, and all that will not be something that will take money out of your pocket or render you useless in a moment of awe. It's got to be something that is natural to you. Okay, and so what? So when they talk about Jesus, I say, and so what? Okay, so what else can he do that I can't do? And I guess this Jesus also said, the works I do, you can do also much more than this, you can also do. What have you done that can compare to what Jesus has done? Have you done more than it? That was a fake Jesus. That was a fictional character telling you can do it and you can do more than that. Not to mention that you are real, you are human. The moment you realize that your duty as a human is to become divine, nothing will surprise you anymore. Osifo Joe is saying that if you don't sleep, there's no how the experience you had during the day can't be filled with the memory bank. That's why it's easy to recall when you wake up or some other time. Thank you very much. All right, so on this note, we're going to be rounding up this particular exposition. I hope I've been able to bless you. If you are blessed, you can just go down to my YouTube channel and subscribe to the YouTube channel or even our Facebook page at the Greatman Ayilara on Facebook or Instagram, and also Greatman Ayilara on YouTube. On YouTube, press the subscribe button and also notification button. There are a set of teachings I do on Facebook. There are some I do on YouTube, and there are some I do on Zoom, private lesson for people. There are different categories of wisdom you share with people. So we are holding one tomorrow, 26th of April 2020 by 3 p.m. It's on Sunday on Zoom. We're going to be talking about identifying and harnessing your mystical element for prime performance. You are in workplace, you are a professional person, you are a religious person, non-religious person. There is a mystical aspect of you. There is a mystical aspect of you that you can harness. There is something you identify with in this world, in this nature, that you can harness for your prime performance. Then when people look at you, they know that no, you are not one of them. You are not one of them. All right, thank you. Kolawole is saying, what are you wearing, sir? What are you wearing, sir? Is that I'm wearing a cloth. I'm wearing a cloth and it's covering my bones. I'm a very slim man, so I need a cloth that make me feel big so I don't look sick to you. All right, so he said, what are you wearing and why? What kind of a question is this? What kind of a question is what am I wearing or why am I wearing? I believe some questions are just funny. Some questions are just funny. On a very average time, you will see me wearing either white or black. I keep my life simple. It's a reflection of who I am inside. I don't like multicolor stuff. I always love to put on plain stuff. My life is plain, and it's a reflection of my personality. That's it. That's all. If I don't want to wear white, I'm wearing black. If I'm not wearing black, I'm wearing blue. If I'm not wearing, it has to be plain all of the time. I'm a plain person. So I think our personality, what we are inside, reflect on our fashion sense. I'm not fashionable, but I find fulfillment in just being simple. All right, so I'm not dressed like another priest. At least I'm not your priest. I'm not anybody's priest. I'm not even your mentor. I just come to speak the truth. Thank you very much for listening, and namaste. Enjoy the rest of your day.